Welcome back to Kansas City. You haven't missed a thing. The match has kicked off for the second half for about 4 seconds. And there has been a change, as indicated by Bob Lee. Graham Zusi, the local favourite with Sporting Kansas City, has come on for Landon Donovan at half-time. And I would think that Jurgen Klinsmann might have burnt a few ears with his half-time team talk. What do you think, Taylor?
For sure, Ian. But we're talking about auditioning for spots for the World Cup roster. If this second half changes for the better, Graham Zusi gets a check mark in his box because he's coming into this game and changing the complexion of the U.S., particularly in the midfield.
It's a good chance for Zusi. Matix was penalised there. Maybe Zusi's just gone down the pecking order a little bit in recent times. He was dropped after the Costa Rica disappointment away from home. Recently was only on the bench for the Mexico game, on the bench again here. But you'd have to say in the main, he did a fantastic job during that time when Landon Donovan wasn't available.
No doubt about it. But I think with Alejandro Bedoya, his success since moving to France, I think now there's competition, but wonderful opportunity here in the second half for Zusi to have an impact.
Foul on Altidore, free kick for the USA. If you're late tuning in, a reminder that USA have switched to a 4-4-2 system for this game, with the new boy Aaron Johansson partnering Josie Altidore up front. Zusi likes to take charge of the set pieces. His free kick. Quite a long way. Evans was forward. Here's DeMarcus Beasley trying to make headway. Corner or goal kick? Answer, goal kick. Really at the sharp end of World Cup qualifying all over the world. Excitement mounting towards Brazil. It's wonderful for the USA that they will be there again for the 7th time running. We look forward to the crucial draw in early December. Howard taking no chances. Altidore lays it inside to Alejandro Bedoya. Has Colombian descent. Bedoya, Discarud to Altidore. This is a little better. Brad Evans now. Discarud. It's a good-looking ball, but Zusi couldn't bring it under control, rather disappointingly. We reckon there's probably 40 names in the frame for 23 places, something like that. Penciling a few in our notebooks when we had nothing better to do the other day.
There may be some odd names in there, particularly when the January camp of MLS players comes about, but that sounds about right, Ian.
Cameron doing the defending. I'm pretty sure he'd be penciled in, maybe inked in because of his versatility. Sometimes counts against him, might count for him too. Cover a few positions, which is always handy for any coach. One for Altidore to chase. Where's Morgan doing the covering? The captain of Leicester City, Morgan. Morgan forward to Javon Watson. Remember that Jamaica did beat the USA 2-1 at their famous office home ground in the first part of the qualifying process. A famous win for them, that one. And Rodolphe Austin, who's out there tonight, scored in that game. The other one was from Luton Shelton, who's been a bit surprisingly left out of this squad. There has been one disappointing aspect of this qualifying campaign. It has been the USA's away form. They've only got 4 away points in the Hex. Kansas City fans want to see a USA goal, and the USA have scored in every home World Cup qualifier since the year 2000. Altidore on the chase, is just a bit too much weight on it. No problems for goalkeeper Kerr. Altidore and Johansson, by the way, have played 26 minutes together previously. Matthijs Alkmaar, Altidore's former club in Holland, for whom he scored 31 goals last season. Not won by Bedoya. Phillips down the line for Mattox. It is win or bust, this, for Jamaica. If they don't win tonight, they're definitely not going to the World Cup. Austin, though. Oh, and that deflected off Diskerud, no problem in the end. Bedoya again, aiming for newly promoted Nantes in France. Diskerud was caught in possession in midfield in a bad area there. Siobhan Watson playing it through, and here's Brown, and Howard had to save that. He was out very quickly, Tim Howard, there to smother the danger.
It's a bad giveaway in the midfield from Mix Diskerud, and this is what Jamaica wants, is immediately when that ball turns over to have numbers coming forward.
Tim Howard captaining the side tonight for the 6th time. In the absence of Clint Dempsey, of course. Good claim as well from the Everton keeper. Here's Johansson. Needs a bit of support. Jamaica did get a draw with already qualified Costa Rica in their last match, scoring in the 92nd minute by one of the men who's one of their substitutes tonight, Jermaine Anderson, who's quite a favourite with the Jamaican fans. He's got a stack of goals in the local league there. Wonder if we might see him later on. You can see what Kerr was looking to do there with his clearance. Doyley covering. Jones. Bedoya. It's Alejandro Bedoya. It was a good hit as well. Blocked on the way through. Might have been interesting to see where that ended up if it travelled. Watson having a good game in that midfield alongside Austin. Giving the USA a good argument in that crucial area. Out of play. How's he doing, do you think, Johansson? What's the verdict so far?
He's had a couple chances the first half, but it's just been sloppy. We've seen 2 or 3 times where he's had the opportunity to hold the ball up, allow the midfield to get forward, and him and Josie just haven't done a good job of being on the same page, but more importantly, being a release of pressure for the back four of the United States.
USA rather still looking for that attacking spark. Good solid performance from Jamaica. They've done that a few times though in this group. They just haven't found the inspiration to go with the perspiration. Morgan. Mariappa, vastly experienced defenders, those two in the middle there. Not let many in. Bottom of the group, nobody scored more than 2 against them. Don't forget to tune in for a big Major League Soccer offering on Sunday. Seattle Sounders heading to Portland. The big derby match taking on the Timbers there. That's 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific on ESPN, and available too on the Watch ESPN app. Good game. And you'd expect Clint Dempsey to be in action there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if he goes from the start. He's been in and out of the lineup. He came in the second half against Vancouver, but Caleb Porter deserves a ton of credit for turning around Portland Timbers. There's a belief now in that club that they should win every game.
MLS boiling up towards the playoffs.
See, this is the part of the game where, you know, when Mix Diskerud gets the start, this is where he needs to find the space and get on the ball. We're seeing Graham Zusi now tuck inside, but can Mix Diskerud then find possession here?
Here's Johansson being allowed some free space there. Nobody really picking him up. Jamaica quite happy for him to get the ball that deep. Evans. Jurgen Klinsmann quite likes him at right back, although he plays in midfield for Seattle Sounders. It's a problem. He's only going to play probably 4 or 5 more times at right back before the World Cup. Is that a problem?
It's a great point, Ian. It's the same problem with Jeff Cameron.
Break off for a moment because Johansson's looking to break through. Good covering by Doyley, who got it away for Jamaica.
Just great patience and possession, much better from the United States. And this is what we wanted from Landon Donovan in the first half, is tucking inside, taking it to the Jamaican midfield and finding those seams. Good run from Graham Zusi.
Nice piece of creative play that from Zusi, looking to open things up. That's aimed towards Altidore. It'll never reach him. And Jamaica are going to get the free kick there. And some applause from Joby McAnuff. Last time this referee handled the US, they won 5-1 against Scotland, and Landon Donovan got a hat-trick. It was the last time Jermaine Jones scored as well. Just a spectator now. We were wondering if he might get that yellow card tonight that would have knocked him out the Panama game and presumably made him available for LA Galaxy next Wednesday, which it was just a thought, a passing thought, no more. Not going to happen.
You and your conspiracy theories.
He's off to Panama. It wouldn't be the first, would he? One point Jurgen Klinsmann has made is, he said it to us today, I'm not going to select anyone who hasn't got the sufficient recovery time in them once we get to the World Cup and have to play once every 3 or 4 days. So the fitness testing of the players is going to be stringent, particularly in those sweltering Brazilian conditions. It is a tough schedule at the World Cup like that, and the opposition generally gets harder and harder as you go through it. Jurgen Klinsmann saying in an interview the other day, we can't win the World Cup, not realistically, and he got a bit of criticism for that.
You think he really believes that?
He sticks by it. Yeah, of course he does. Yeah, he does believe it. No question. But then probably only about 5 countries can win it.
Ian, I'm sorry, but if he really believes they can't win the World Cup, why go?
Well,
that was a motivation tactic.
I think
you won't convince me otherwise, my man.
I think he was adding, of course we're going to give it a go, but if you're asking me realistically, I'm not going to have that pinned against me. We're going to win the World Cup and quoted back at me right, left and centre. Managers are good at lowering expectation levels, Taylor, you know that.
Of course.
Here's Jermaine Jones. Now Altidore. Can they build something here? DeMarcus Beasley. Now Graham Zusi. Little chance for him to remind the coach what he's all about with this second half opportunity. Diskerud. Struggling to find a way through here. USA. Just needs that something extra by way of creativity. That's not bad from Johansson. But across was Wes Morgan doing the covering. Jamaica have defended very well, but that's not their problem generally. Now then, Brad Evans. Now Bedoya. Looking for the movement ahead of him. Is a fair enough challenge, is it? No. He's had a few.
This has to be a yellow card.
No. Siobhan Watson has been involved in any number of challenges here, but the referee is quite happy to keep the card in his pocket by the look of it.
Persistent infringement, Ian.
You'd have thought, yeah, on the previous conviction, not rule, but understanding, he might have, yeah. Well, yeah, looking at that again, what do you think?
Well, it's a bad first touch from Mixed Discarud, but again, Javon Watson wins the ball. It's the follow through there, but what is that, his 4th, 5th, 6th foul? Graham Zusi loves for Sporting KC just to clip this ball right in between the 18-yard line and the penalty spot.
Gets it right. It's difficult to defend with the defenders going backwards here.
And that high line from the back.
It's gone a long way. It's Altidore! And Jones was in there, and they couldn't apply a finishing touch. Well, that was something more like it from the US.
Jamaica defending this set piece with such a high line. This is why the ball from Graham Zusi is so good, because Kerr can't come off his line for that ball.
Off to Brazil. Well, they're in party mood, and why not? Cut out by Jeff Cameron. He's Discarud. Zusi to Jermaine Jones of Schalke, playing the Champions League this season in Europe. Nope, not accurate enough that time from Cameron. Easily cut out by Jamaica. Need to develop the counters a little quicker, maybe. Phillips. Evans looking to hit it long here. That's a bit better. Bedoya, just Altidore to aim at so far. Johansson's arriving. He's gone deep here to Zusi. Altidore. Jones. It hit Johansson on the way through. Hit his own player. It's Jamaica's ball. Down in that corner. Still struggling to make the breakthrough here. Jamaica as we move towards the 3/4 point in this final home World Cup qualifier of the cycle. Last game on Tuesday away to Panama, and that could be a massive, massive game for Panama themselves. And vital from the USA's perspective, and I think for the integrity of the competition, they play that full out. And will, I'm sure. It's a great run here by Deshaun Brown, who goes on and on and on. Beasler, did he foul him? Referee says no. Looks like he could be a threat in little cameos, Deshaun Brown, on his debut. Joby McAnuff, usually an old-fashioned winger, McAnuff, but here playing centrally, just behind the strikers. Mattox. Here's Johansson. USA going to make another substitution in a moment. More about that as it happens. Discarud. Johansson. Flag stayed down. Not quite happening for the youngster on this big, big night for him. But there'll be other nights, I'm sure. I think he's impressed everybody in the training, hasn't he? That the players, you know, the players are pretty close to them. Johansson.
Yeah, he definitely has, and I also think his club form is something that is going to give him more opportunities. But tonight, him and Jozy Altidore have not been on the same page. I mean, that is literally the 5th or 6th time we've seen Jozy Altidore just give the ball away carelessly in the midfield.
There's going to be a substitution any moment now. We're going to see Edgar Castillo coming on. This substitution is fueled by Gatorade. Castillo for DeMarcus Beasley, and that will be a like-for-like switch, one left back for another.
Well, and that substitution is also just, that's a product of already being qualified for the World Cup. If the United States haven't qualified yet, you're not bringing out your starting left back, but now you get an opportunity to see Edgar Castillo for about 25-30 minutes.
Well, he'd be one very much on the list of possibles, not probables, Castillo, maybe so far, so little audition time for him again. Ryan Johnson getting in behind here with Cameron. Shoves him to one side, got the cross in, Brad Evans gets it away for the US. McAnuff, I should say, to Lloyd Doyley. Now Mariappa. DeMar Phillips. All the strikers try out. Matic's got the header in, but it was convenient for Tim Howard.
Well, and all the possession going forward for Jamaica, but finally they got some quality service from an outside fullback getting forward.
I think Theo Robinson's going to come on in a moment for Jamaica. Much travelled striker around very many English clubs. Castillo, his first involvement. Zusi joining in on that side. Johansson looks to bend one for the corner. No, not quite. Let's take a look at our Continental Tire Analyst Corner.
Ian, tonight the key word has been opportunities, and with the amount of injuries they've had tonight, you've seen Diskerud and Johansson get those opportunities. But I'd be remiss to not mention the missing stars, and the big one for me tonight with the struggles that the United States have had is Michael Bradley. We've seen at times Jermaine Jones not knowing where to be defensively, but more importantly, when that back four is trying to build any attack going forward, how often has Michael Bradley been that linchpin to get that forward, get possession? He's the one for me that the United States need game in and game out come Brazil time next year.
No question of that at all. Bradley still struggling a little bit with that ankle injury for Roma, who are going great guns in Italy. It might be not the easiest to break back into the side. But that, as they say, is another issue.
I think what's also going to be very interesting with Michael Bradley at Roma, though, is their success. He's been injured. Is how much playing time does he get?
It's up to him with his weight of form, isn't it, to do something about that, or who knows, maybe a January move to somewhere else in Italy. They'd have a few admirers, I'd say, over there. Here's Zusi. Castillo on the overlap. Back to Zusi, bit of time to pull the trigger. It was a good block in the end as well. And the referee's decided he was going to halt the play there because he believes the injury might be a serious one. The US were not too impressed by that. I think he should only really stop it there if it's a head injury. But Siobhan Watson just collapsed to the turf, and that kind of broke up the attack.
It was a great overlapping run from Edgar Castillo, but this has to be hit first time right now. As a center forward, Jozy Altidore is struggling to get chances like that. He finally has that center defender one-on-one. If Castillo hits that one-on-one first time, it gives Jozy Altidore a chance to finish that play. But now by the time Castillo cuts that ball back, now the back four, then the midfield of Jamaica gets numbers behind the ball.
Another switch coming up. There is Edgar Castillo. He's obviously been sent on with the instructions. Raid down that left-hand side. Give us another dimension. And that's exactly what he was trying to do. Off comes Javon Watson. I think the impact of that might have just tweaked a muscle or two for him. He's having a good game in there, to be fair to him. Sasha Klestjan of Anderlecht is going to come on, and they're still waiting to make their own change and bring on Theo Robinson here at Jamaica. Well, they're taking an eternity to get this done, and in the end the US say, well, it's your ball. Not totally sure the game should have been halted there for that. And still we wait for those two substitutions. The game's almost come grinding to a halt for a moment inside the last 20 minutes. Castillo only just about kept that in play. Here's Zusi again. Jermaine Jones. A muscular challenge from Rodolphe Austin. Well, it's all getting a little fragmented here at the moment, where Johansson's race is run. So tonight, a frustrating night, not one he'll remember with a lot of fondness, but nonetheless a major night in his career, his first start for the United States. There'll be others, won't there?
I think so for sure, but it's also a change of formation in the last 20 minutes of this game, because now Mix Diskerud will play underneath Josie Altidore in more of what we've seen from Jurgen Klinsmann in a 4-2-3-1.
Now here's Castillo again. He is finding some space on breaks. The cross, back by Bedoya. Diskerud! It only needed a touch from Altidore, and that would have done the trick. I think he intended it as a shot, to be fair, Diskerud.
But numbers now getting forward, particularly with Edgar Castillo coming into this game. But this is where Mix Diskerud feels more comfortable. Is right underneath that center forward, picking out 50-50 balls, those loose balls on top of the 18.
Just mishit, wasn't it, in the end by Diskerud? I remember he scored a last-minute equalizer for the United States and a 2-2 draw in Russia. That was a good result for Jurgen Klinsmann's team. Russia looked like qualifying for the World Cup the way things are going. Portugal only drew today. Watson has come off injured, and so Matix is going to stay out there. That's what's they changed the substitution, Jamaica, just to clarify all of that. Nice ball that by Jermaine Jones. It's Bedoya again. He might seem a new name to you, but he actually did play in Bob Bradley's last game, the Gold Cup final against Mexico, the one that Mexico won 4-2. Here's Lloyd Doyley. He's almost part of the furniture at Watford. Doyley's been there for 12 years, their longest serving player, and over 400 appearances too. Free kick. Now then, can Jamaica nick what would be a vital goal for them here? They haven't threatened Tim Howard that often in this game. Maybe a set piece would be more up their street. Should be Howard's, and it is. No pressure on him at all either. Klestjan seems to go in and out of the squad, but stays on the radar. Evans. Sasha Kleshchin again. Altidore does well. Castillo plays it inside. Castillo started quite brightly on that side, but that wasn't his best ball, was it? Robinson's first involvement saw him dispossessed straight away. In truth, a whole catalogue of errors out there tonight. It's Bedoya again. Did have a little spell with Rangers in Glasgow. Question once more. Castillo was in acres of space on the left-hand side and never got it. Cameron found a decent angle. The 1-2 played. Here's Diskerud. Oh, turned on the trick. Altidore's nicked it away. The attack's still alive. Zusi. Advantage played by the referee. Arriving in Bedoya. And it's still alive as well. And Zusi has put the United States ahead. Graham Zusi in his home stadium. What a moment for him. How they love that here. And that's the goal that just about seals Jamaica's fate, I would say.
But it also came from the substitution from Jurgen Klinsmann to bring in Sasha Kleshchin and go back to that 4-2-3-1. And what we've seen in the 5 or 7 minutes that they've been in that formation is a understanding between Josie Altidore and Mix Diskerud. Credit to Graham Zusi to stay alive, to find that open 5-yard space. That's a tough ball to hit across your body, and a great finish.
Placing was everything there for Zusi, who only lives a few minutes from the stadium. If he'd have chosen anywhere to score in the World Cup, it would have been right here. That was worth the wait for the local fans, no doubt about it.
And what did we talk about when we knew about the halftime substitution of Graham Zusi and Landon Donovan? Listen, this is an audition, an opportunity for a player to come into a second half of a game that was lifeless in the first half. What does he do? Scores a goal to put the U.S. up 1-0.
There might be more here. Zusi. Oh, Bedoya was in a bit of space, and Kleshchin nearly scored. Only the feet of the goalkeeper Kerr kept that out. Suddenly the USA turning it on. Kleshchin trying to get on the end of this one. Different game now. I think they're more comfortable with this system, aren't they? That's the thing.
Especially with Josie Altidore as high as he can, and then Mix Diskerud just having the freedom to roam. Great run from Graham Zusi, and that is a difficult finish for Sasha Kleshchin. He does a wonderful job to put it on target.
He thought he'd scored, I think, there, the Anderlecht man, Kleshchin. It's good goalkeeping that was by Dwayne Kerr to keep that one out. Any part of the body counts. Ask the keepers union. Morgan. He wanted one of the strikers to show. None of them did. Evans. Well, one possibility opens up here for the USA. If they go on to win this game and win again on Tuesday, they will equal their highest ever number of points in the hexagonal, which is 22, which was achieved in 2006. Looks like they're going to top the hexagonal as well for the 3rd cycle running, especially with Costa Rica losing tonight to Honduras. And don't forget, coming up later, that pivotal matchup between Mexico and Panama at the Azteca. Live tonight, 9:15 Eastern on ESPN News for that one, and on your Watch ESPN app. Massive match for the Mexicans. Big chance for Zusi, but it's Altidore. No, not quite. still being something here. Castillo. Oh, Altidore must score. Does score. 2-0 USA. Points are in the bag. Altidore scores as a starter for the 6th time running. And another of the substitutes, Edgar Castillo, sets it up.
Spot on, Ian. We saw in the first goal it was Graham Zusi coming in the second half, and this goal from Jozy Altidore is all Edgar Castillo because they are pushing numbers forward. And his commitment to see this play through, but then to have the composure to pick his head out. Simple finish for Jozy Altidore, but give credit to Edgar Castillo for trusting his instincts going forward and playing a great ball across.
Yeah, he got his head up, didn't he, Castillo? Good quality, and made it just a tap in for Altidore, who now ties Bruce Murray for 6th place in the all-time US scorers list on 21. He was already the fastest man in US history to 20, by the way. Well, it was a slow burner, this game, for certain, but the USA have slipped into a higher gear in the last 10 or 15 minutes and have moved into a smooth 2-goal lead here now. And 1 or 2 players have done their cause no harm at all. Castillo, Zusi. What about Diskerud? What's your verdict on him?
I think it's changed over the last 10 to 12 minutes. I really believe that he feels much more comfortable in front of 2 defensive center midfielders and having the freedom to roam underneath Jozy Altidore. And it was a slow start for him playing next to Jermaine Jones in a 4-4-2, but the last 12 to 13 minutes, he's been good.
Wants to play a bit further up the pitch, doesn't he, I think, Diskerud? Bedoya. Nice ball, here he is again. Diskerud, suddenly looking full of threat. Zusi wants another one. Not this time. In fact, he nearly hit it out the ground. It went to one of the concession stands. I think it's gone into a hot dog stall behind that goal somewhere.
But this second half has been a lot of Bedoya, Graham Zusi getting into the play. They had none of this whatsoever in the first half. But see, now because Mix Diskerud has the freedom to go forward, he can then run those channels and find those seams. And then it's extremely important that that opposite side midfielder comes in. Good spot from Graham Zusi.
Jamaicans just looking a little demoralized, perhaps a little understandably. Same story for them. No punch, really. Back to the drawing board again. The coach, Winifred Schaefer, though, has got a pretty fair record. He won the African Cup of Nations with Cameroon a decade back. And that was sold a bit short to Mariappa. Another change coming up here for Jamaica, and we're going to see Jermaine Anderson, the man who scored the late equalizer against Costa Rica, the top scorer in the Jamaican league. Brian Johnson to come off, and Jermaine Anderson coming on for his 8th cap so far. His 8th cap at the age of 34. Well, another winning night by the look of it for Jurgen Klinsmann.
I think what's interesting to me, though, Ian, about Jurgen Klinsmann is his ability to change formations in games. We saw it against Bosnia-Herzegovina. They came out the second half in a 4-4-2 and scored some goals. Tonight, they were struggling in the 4-4-2. So what is he doing around the 70th minute? He moves into a 4-2-3-1, and they have found more rhythm going forward.
And that tactical adaptability, of course, is absolutely vital. The thinking on the feet. There's the men who've come off, taking a look at things. We can now officially tell you that the United States are going to play Austria in a friendly on November the 19th. Just before that, they go to Scotland, to Hampden Park, the famous Hampden Park, to play against Scotland, who are improving Gordon Strachan's side. That might be quite an interesting one. Austria lost today to Sweden. That means they won't be in the playoffs, so are free to play against the United States. That's why that's just become official. I know you were wondering.
I was, thank you.
I'll be asking questions later about all that. Here's Theo Robinson. Anderson. Big favourite he is with the Jamaican fans. Well, it's been a night for the supporting cast a little bit, hasn't it, here?
I think that's going to be the biggest battle over the next 4 to 5 months. As we know, it's Jermaine Jones and Michael Bradley in the middle, but then who's the next cast of characters in the midfield for Jurgen Klinsmann? Kyle Beckerman, Sasha Kleshtin, is it Mix Diskerud, Stuart Holden if he gets healthy? I mean, there's a lot of guys that are fighting for that position, those spots in behind Michael Bradley and Jermaine Jones. And
mentioning Stuart Holden, let's wish him all the best, because he has been absolutely luckless with injuries. Let's hope it does brighten up for him sometime soon.
I mean, interestingly enough, yesterday in the press conference, who did Jurgen Klinsmann bring up?
Danny Williams. We haven't seen for a while. He's playing for Reading. You'll know a few of these Jamaican players in the second tier. He's had a few problems, Danny Williams. Maybe this time for him too. Zusi's doing really well on his home turf tonight. Bedoya playing it in and scrambled away by a Jamaican defense, which is now springing a few leaks.
Well, and Ian, we talk about the January camp for MLS players. I'm going to throw an X factor into that center of the midfield part, Osvaldo Alonso.
Tell us about him then.
I mean, he's a U.S. citizen. He may have, I mean, I have a feeling that Jurgen Klinsmann in U.S. soccer may want to force the issue a little bit with Cuba and get him cleared. If that happens, he's an X factor.
He might be one of those late runners towards the squad. There always seems to be somebody. Everyone lives in hope for the moment. Zusi has been a cameo, but it's been close to a man of the match cameo from Graham Zusi. Going to be the United States' 15th win of the calendar year, and that is it was already a record at 14, so it is one of the very best years in US soccer history, this one. Kleshtin, a lot of space developing out there now. Castillo set up one goal and wants one himself. He might get it too. Oh, couldn't put it in, Edgar Castillo, and he's wondering how. He's wondering how.
And I'm wondering how he just, if he picks up his head right here and just touches it, Josie Altidore has his second tap-in of the night. But Edgar Castillo has come into this game and changed it down the left-hand side for Jurgen Klinsmann in the U.S.
Great spot, Taylor. Altidore was arriving. He knocks that back. That's 3.
Well, it's coming from a center forward, by the way. I was always open.
Well, you were the fastest man to 100 Major League Soccer goals.
Yeah, I just slipped that to you underneath a $100 bill.
It says here. 3 minutes of stoppage time there's going to be. Yet another United States home win. It will mean that in this whole World Cup qualifying process, the United States have won every single home game in this cycle. Is there more? No. Kerr is there. Jamaica are out of the World Cup officially. Perfect choreography. That's why the US love coming to Kansas City. It is a hotbed for the game around here.
It's just been so impressive this final round of qualifying, though, Ian. You and I were talking about at dinner last night. Every home field advantage, there really was a 12th man for the U.S.
Pity that the World Cup's not going to be played on American soil then.
Really? You love bringing up sore spots, don't you?
We've got to be realistic going forward. Got to think about the tasks ahead, just as Jurgen Klinsmann is doing. He knows it gets tougher. There is a yellow card for Kleshchen by the look of it there, late on in the piece. Doesn't have a previous one, so it's not going to matter, not unless he gets another one in the few seconds remaining. Austin to chip it forward. No, he's elected to go to Phillips instead. They're lining up to get a header in here, Jamaica. Anderson. Doyley. Jermaine Anderson again. Nicely done, Mattox. Bedoya was caught late there. And there's going to be a card for Jermaine Anderson for that challenge. He's left it till stoppage time to start producing the yellow cards. And while he's getting some treatment, let's have a look at the All-State good hands save brought to you by All-State.
Well, and I think Brad Evans and Tim Howard are going to split this, but I really love just the understanding from Brad Evans to see this play through. Because you know you're running back to your own goal. You don't want to run into your own goalkeeper. He did a good job of seeing the play through and clearing the play up.
Very early in the game that was as well. Jamaica did start well, first 10-15 minutes or so. Couldn't get a breakthrough though. And bit by bit, the USA have tightened the noose. Jurgen Klinsmann, being the character he is, will want to finish the group with another win in Panama on Tuesday. Theo Robinson here. That's a good piece of play. And between them, Tim Howard and Matt Beasler managed to clear the lines and keep the clean sheet intact. Good piece of play, though, by Theo Robinson.
And Tim Howard heard we didn't give him the good hand save of the game, so he decided to one-up Brad Evans.
That's it. He's a winning captain, Tim Howard, tonight. And the USA 100% at home through the cycle. Graham Zusi with a goal on home turf to start it all off. And then a second one set up by Edgar Castillo for Josie Altidore, who scores as a starter for the 6th match in a row. 2-0 to the USA. Let's hand it back to Bob Lee.
Thanks, guys, for about 66 minutes. This game is in cruise control, going at the legal speed limit and nowhere certain. Then comes the substitutions and a brand new feeling to this game.
It felt like a friendly for that first 65, 70 minutes. Like everyone just kind of going through the motions. But what we're talking about, guys taking advantage of opportunities. Graham Zusi, Edgar Castillo kind of thinking, hey, this could be my opportunity. I got 20 minutes to come in as a sub and make a difference. And the two of them did exactly that.
Yeah, we judge coaches, we judge managers on the changes that they make. And substitutions, we judge on if they can come in and affect change. And that's exactly what happened. Individually, the guys that came off the bench, they made a difference. And then collectively, the team looked different when those substitutions were made. I will caution people to say, well, the players that came in that scored the goals that played well, then they should be starting. It doesn't quite work that way, but you can only do what you can do when you get onto the field. And when they got on the field, they performed and they changed the game.
Zusi came on at the half. Kleshchen came on at the 73rd minute. Castillo came on in the 66th minute. And Zusi scoring the first goal on his home ground. What a moment.
Absolutely. And listen, Graham Zusi's been the golden child for the last year. And in recent times, he hasn't been starting. But he came in, as I said, he affected change. It's not just the goal. He was active from the moment he got in. And the reason why he's so happy there is because Jurgen Klinsmann is challenging.
Edgar Castillo playing the best match we've seen him play from left back.
Edgar Castillo came onto the mat and really pushed up. I think there was a little bit of hesitation early on in the game if the outside backs could come forward. Castillo came on, got aggressive, got the benefit, got into a good position to win that second ball off the poor clearance. Excellent cross for Josie Altidore, and almost had an opportunity to score himself or to set up Altidore for a second goal.
Tally up the accomplishments for this U.S. national team. 535 consecutive scoreless minutes in home qualifying. The last goal conceded was here against Guatemala a year ago. No home goals obviously conceded in the Hex. They've done that for the third time, and they win the group for the third consecutive cycle.
Absolutely. A lot of credit to these guys out here, and a lot of credit to Jurgen Klinsmann. We talked at the beginning of the show how he has changed and all that he has learned going through a qualifying in CONCACAF and all the difficulties on the field that you face and off the field that you face. And to come through at the top of the group, wonderful. Pat on the back, congratulations. That man, Jurgen Klinsmann, though, knows that his job really starts next summer, and that's where he's paid to make sure that this team uses these experiences and this success to make sure they're successful next summer in Brazil.
One more opportunity to tinker at the margins in qualifying Tuesday in Panama.
Once again, we keep re-emphasizing that word opportunities. I'm assuming there'll be a few changes. There'll be some new opportunities for some different players to continue to try to impress Jurgen Klinsmann and the coaching staff, because they are going to be few and far between.
Coming up on ESPN News at 9:15 Eastern Time, the critical, crucial must-win for Mexico against Panama. Live coverage from Estadio Azteca. Crushing pressure on El Tri. The celebration continues. That was the motif coming into the evening. The opportunity for players to make their case for Brazil. All of that going down tonight. Brad Guzan, Tim Howard, the clean sheet for the man who wore the captain's armband tonight. Coming up next, ESPN College Football Primetime. Temple taking on Cincinnati. Stay with us on ESPNFC.com or ESPN3 for Boot Room Extra. Once again, our final score, the USA 2, Jamaica 0. The USA winning their group, 19 points. They play again next Tuesday.